And of course that plus the tarp that's on top, or the top tarp. What a mess. I still got a lot of cutting to do, it looks like. But welcome back to the MT and me. Finally, a day without ice or snow or rain. Now you remember in our last video we were all snowed in at my studios at work. Spent a whole week there because of the icy and snowy weather conditions and temperatures that were down in single digits. Well, that disappeared over the weekend, and then Sunday night it started raining. And it rained. And it rained. And it stopped at, I guess, noon yesterday. Actually, you know, it was raining a little bit this morning now that I think about it. But anyway, it finally quit. We had like 4 days of a flood watch going on here. We didn't get it as bad as some southern states, but we got plenty of rain. And from the looks of things, we are a few hours away from getting some more. So I'm out here to maybe do a little bit of quick work on Pearl so that I can have something to show for this week, because this is the second week in a row that I really haven't done anything on the old girl. So I want to show some progress for her and for you, as well as for myself. So we're out here to see what we can do. Now, once we get a few days of fairly nice weather, I'm going to have to get out here with a chainsaw probably and cut up all that wood over there. This is the wood that actually blew down out of grandfather oak before the ice and snow came. We had a windstorm come through, took out a couple of really big limbs, you know, damaged the fence between me and my neighbor, and piled up a lot of wood in my yard and in his yard. So anyway, we've got that cleanup to worry about. But for today, we're going to take some plastic and some tape and see if we can't recover some window openings on Pearl that badly need attention. And we're going to start right here on the back. And we did indeed start right here on the back. Trouble is, I forgot to push the record button, and so here's the finished product. Before I started, it looked sort of like this. So as you can see, this is a very big improvement over what we had. And I'm sorry you didn't get to see all of my wonderful work. But I did push the record button to get the rest of the windows on Pearl. These windows are completely uncovered plastic-wise on both sides, but the tarp on top is offering protection on them. And oddly enough, this plastic, this large piece, is still in pretty good shape. So I think I might do a little additional taping on the bottom just to hold it in place and then call it done, at least for the time being. And when the time comes, I still have plenty of plastic left that I can replace that with. The door is another story. The plastic is completely gone on it. It was completely covered with plastic, and there's still plastic on the inside, but this outside layer is totally gone. So we're going to have to open it up and recover it. But not today. It's starting to sprinkle out here. Told you it was going to rain. The important thing is I got the front windows, the side, and also the big window in the back covered with fresh plastic. A little extra tape on this side here. It'll do okay. And of course that plus the top, the tarp. The tarp that's on top, or the top tarp. That gray thing right there is going to keep Pearl nice and dry on the inside. And that's what I've been worried about, especially with these windows, because they were really getting leaky. So we find ourselves back where we started. But at least Pearl is a lot more secure now, and hopefully we'll be staying a lot drier. Same can't be said for me if I don't load all this stuff up and get inside before the bottom drops out. All right, next day, here inside Pearl for a change. It did rain quite a bit, and it's actually gotten a little chilly once again. It's good to see that our plastic work did its trick though. These windows that we recovered are all doing perfectly. Pearl is bone dry inside, and after all the rain that we have had in the last 5 or 6 days, not to mention the snow and ice before that, that is a wonderful sight to see. It's good to have her dry on the inside for a change. So that brings us back to probably, I guess, the most pressing point at hand, and that is what to do about all this metal work on top. You remember a couple of spots here that are once again right above me here and right over here in particular that need some serious attention as far as bracing or reinforcing. And I had some response in asking about, you know, the ideas I threw out at you, sistering in the 3/4 inch metal rods that this is made of. It's 3/4 inch hollow steel. Sistering in some to support, and then maybe using angle iron to support it on a side and the bottom. And several people thought that would be a pretty good idea. If we were to look at using angle iron, we could basically take a piece and run it all along this, all the way to this junction right here, so that it would fit up this side and across the bottom and add extra support, particularly in this part here that is completely worn out. This side is still solid, the other side, but there's the top, the bottom, and a gap right there that's not. And then right here we have another hole. Now this is the part where it's completely come undone. And so here it would take like a piece of angle iron coming right up to this point and intersecting. And that could be kind of tricky. We might have to do it on this other side here. And then see about just letting it hold the gap. Let that gap be there with support on this other side. You know, supporting the side and the bottom to hold that in place. And that would allow the two pieces to come together in this point, but not actually intersect one another. Something else that might be a possibility would be to take a small plate of metal and simply attach it right here over this entire junction to put a little bit of extra support in this area. That will help hold that up, plus give extra reinforcement to these other three pieces. Just something else I thought about. So, possibilities. We have several. And I really haven't made a solid decision yet as to which route we're going to follow. So I'm still accepting input. If you want to comment on this video and let me know what you're thinking, whether you've commented before or if it's a fresh comment. Please, I'd love to hear from you and know what's in your head, okay? So that I can figure out what's in mine. In the meantime, I still have all these wonderful 2x4s just waiting to be cut down and trimmed to fit as ceiling beams here in Pearl. And based on the two we already have in place, I think that system's going to work just fine. You can see up close here how cutting that 2x to fit that curve brings it right into place. And so the remaining question then is how to best give it a little boost here in the middle, as far as maybe getting wedges and putting in place, or using wedges to spread it up and then put a spacer in there right in the middle to give us that little bit of an arch in the roof that we want for drainage. Doesn't have to be much, just a 1/4 inch, I'd say 1/2 inch at the very most, that we want to give just a little bit of water runoff and help stop the pooling on Pearl's surface. I'm actually kind of second guessing a little bit my idea here with the wire going across to help support these roof areas. I just don't know if I can get it tensioned enough. What I have thought about is wondering if maybe if I can find some metal plating to go in between this and the actual frame itself. Now, not all over, but in the junctions, like here, where they all come together. Like we said, that's every 16 inches going back and forth like this. And they're about 2 feet apart across like this. But if I could just put a plate in, even coming out 6 or 8 inches on each side, and it just might come closer to accomplishing what I want to accomplish by adding just enough additional support to that aluminum top so that you can get up there and crawl around without worrying about going through the roof, which I definitely would be concerned about right now. There again, it's going to be a matter of finding the material. There's one place right over here where there is a steel plate put in. This is like, I guess, 16th of an inch steel that's simply laying on top. And it goes from here all the way to right here. Now, I'm not sure why it was there, except I can tell you that this end, this is where the ladder comes up on the back of Pearl. So maybe it was designed so that you could go up the ladder and have a bit of a walk space in this part. But why they didn't go ahead and do the rest of the the roof is a mystery to me, because this would be perfect, and this is quite secure. So if I can find some similar material just to do those spots, like the corner spots like I was talking about, then maybe that's a possibility. And so we're back to possibilities. There are always possibilities, Mr. Spock loved to say. So, like I said, let me know what you're thinking, because it's going to definitely have a bearing in what I get focused on in the next few weeks. For today, that's where I'm going to stop. It's too wet today to get out there and do anything more on Pearl on the outside. And I'm kind of waiting to hear from you before I go further on the inside. I'm going to have to order some metal to do that reinforcement. And although I can probably get it in a few days once I order it, I need to know or decide what to order. Is it going to be regular square tubing, or are we going to use angle iron? Or something else? I don't know. Let's hear from you, okay? So, despite 2 weeks, two weeks of absolute terrible weather, we managed to get a little bit done on Pearl. Some replasticking, if that's a word, that really needed to be done. That's taken care of, so I feel kind of good about that. Thanks a lot for hanging with me this week. Maybe next week we can make even more progress. In the meantime, you let me know your thoughts on the ceiling reinforcement business. Okay, I look forward to hearing from you. Now I look forward to talking to you next time around here on the MT and Me. Below, there are links to buy me a coffee, go to the mtandme.com, and of course, the subscribe button is down there. If you're not a subscriber, I hope you will click that. And give me a thumbs up while you're at it too, okay? It all makes a difference. Till next time around, thanks again for watching. As always, I'm Russ, and we will talk later.